live streams, meaning that I will be talking about a specific topic. And you can, of course, ask questions, but I will be answering questions only related to this topic. So I will not be answering general questions. For that, I do the open live streams where you can ask me anything and I answer everything. But today I will be just doing questions about this topic. And what is the topic? The topic is sending documents to the ministry either via mail, like physical post, or via the infamous data box. And that's actually something one of you asked me earlier today, and I find it as a pretty hot topic, let's say, because more and more people like deal with this. So I wanted to cover this topic as well. So let's start with the submission or sending documents to the ministry via mail, which means physical post, and then I will go to the data box. So sending documents to the ministry via post. Generally speaking, if we don't have to go to the ministry, we don't go. That's not one of the places I would like to spend my time in. So if we don't have to go, we don't go. So whatever we can mail to the ministry, we do mail it. So, and it's actually possible for many things, but for some agendas, it's also not possible. So I'll try to cover everything here and now. So what you cannot, or maybe what you can generally, what you can mail. So from applications, like if you're submitting a new application, then what you can mail, generally all extensions. So if you have a long-term residence permit, be it a student or be it a family reunification, be it an employee card, be it a blue card, then all these extensions, and if you want to extend it, then all these extensions can be mailed to the Ministry of the Interior physically. Okay, it means that you can just fill in your application, print it out, sign it. You can generate the QR code, you can pay the fee, you can add all the other documents to the envelope and send it to the Ministry of the Interior. One important thing though is that or a couple important things. First, everything must be originals. So the same as if you went to the ministry in person. Don't send them copies, don't send them printouts. That doesn't work. So definitely the application form should be original and should be signed. And you should also always send the administrative fee. So pay it in advance and then print out confirmation that you pay that and put it into the envelope. And then all the other documents you want to submit must be, again, originals or notarized copies, so like physical paper. Another important thing is that the documents must be delivered to the ministry before your current residence permit expires. So if you only have 2 days to do that, probably don't risk it with the check post and go in person and wait like from 6 or 5 o'clock in the morning in the line. Don't do it. But if you have like 3 or 4 months, if you're starting early, as we always like ask you to, then you can mail the application in and you don't have to go to the Ministry of the Interior. So that's one thing. What you cannot send or cannot mail is if you're switching, so from a long-term visa to a long-term residence permit, for example, that must be done in person. Also, if you're extending a long-term visa, that also must be done in person. And then if you're submitting a permanent residence application, that can also, or that has to, fuck me, this is like, my brain is not properly braining today. So permanent residence permit application must be also submitted in person, so you cannot just mail it. But generally extensions, extending your employee card, extending your student residence permit, extending your blue card, extending your family reunification residence permit, all these applications can be mailed in. Does not really apply to family members of EU citizens. The partnership visa or temporary residence, that should also be submitted in person, I think. So that's one thing, but that usually works. There are some nationalities that prefer submitting everything in person. And I understand that you go there in person, you give them everything, you get a confirmation, like everything. There is no doubts about like how you submitted that you submitted that, and all that. On the other hand, you spent like 3 hours just like going to the MOI, waiting there, submitting the application, then going back to your work or home. I have other places to be than the Ministry of the Interior, so if we don't have to go there, we don't go there. Yes, if you mail the application in, everything will take probably a bit longer because you first need to deliver it, which usually takes a couple days, and then they need to put it into the system, which can take other days, and then they start working on that and the same thing as they would do at the branch. So it might take longer. On the other hand, it's way more convenient. And if you keep a confirmation that you mailed the application, so if you send it, of course, you should mail it with the trackable mail, not like a regular mail, but a trackable mail. In that case, there is nothing really to worry about as long as you deliver it in time and you deliver what the ministry wants you to deliver. So that's the post. Let's see if there is something, some questions regarding this. So it's Goku the 11th. Please say hi, it's Goku 11 and Jade Meadows. Shout out to you guys. Sandila Assalam Walaikum from Bangladesh. You from country, please come to Bangladesh. I don't think that will happen anytime soon, but let's continue with the topic. So the next topic is the data box and submitting document. Okay. Sorry, step back. You can also, of course, mail all the additional documents for your application to the ministry. So if you submitted your application, it was incomplete, and you want to submit some additional documents, or if the ministry already sent you the letter requesting the documents and you want to send the documents to the ministry, you can also mail it to them. And I definitely recommend it too, again, if you make it in time, because like the ministry sometimes sends like very weird letters and request very weird documents to submit. So just like to submit a copy of your health insurance card, for example, I don't think you should even go to the ministry in person and do it in person, because also remember or realize that you're also taking time. If you go there in person with just like one document to submit or whatever, you're not only taking your time, which you could spend somewhere else, for example, making money or enjoying your life with your family, but you're also spending time of the Ministry of the Interior, so someone else will have to wait longer because of you, all that. If it's just you, of course, nothing happens, but if it's all my followers, if it's like 8,000 people, 9,000 people who save the ministry time, that will also help everyone, because the ministry will be more efficient, they will have more available appointments, there will be shorter waiting times. So it's also good for everyone else if you don't go to the ministry, if you don't have to necessarily. Okay, that was mailing documents. Now the modern way of mailing, the data box. For those of you who don't know what it is, I will sum it up, but I've done also 2 or 3 videos about what is a data box, how to use it somewhere on my channel. So if you're interested in that, go there, check it out. I've done longer videos just on that topic. But basically, a data box is a governmentally assigned email which you can use to communicate with the government, and the government knows that it's you who sent them the message. Nice in theory, not really working in real life, but nice in theory. And what the data box is about is that it should also reduce the amount of people going to branches, and should reduce the time for everyone to wait, and it should also like make the communication with authorities faster. And I admit that in some cases it works. When it's something you just want to send some authority something, they requested something from you, like general, not important stuff, that's great. Like the same as if you send it via email, just more secure, and you have like a real confirmation that you send it and that it was delivered, which you don't always have with an email. But for the Ministry of the Interior, that's a bit more complicated. Because officially, how it works is it doesn't work the way that if you want to send your application, for example, you want to submit your extension of employee card application via data box. So what people think that it works like is that you just scan your documents or even like take photos and then you upload it to the data box and you send it to the ministry and that's all good. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as this. If you want to send the documents via data box, you should first convert them from the physical form to an electronic form, and that's done only at a post office or a checkpoint in general. So you physically need to take the documents to the post office, then they scan it themselves, they upload it to a special like storage, they give you like some very long code, and then you go back home and using the code, you download the electronic version of the document you have in front of you in real, and then you send to the ministry this converted document. Only then it's considered valid and like it's an official electronic version of the document. If you just take a photo or if you just scan it yourself, that should not be accepted because you could have modified it. You know, if you take a photo of your bank statement, there is 0 and you just like add 2 million there and you're good the same in Photoshop, no one will know and you just fake the document. So it would be a super easy way to fake documents. So the ministry should not accept documents like this. So you would have to go to a post office, wait the line there to just have the document scanned, and then you go back home and then you send it via data box. So it will be equally long if you go submit the application in person, or shorter if you go to the post office and when you've already waited the whole time there, then you just put it into envelope and mail it to the ministry physically, you know? There is no point in like doing it electronically if you still need to wait at the post office, get it scanned there, then you go home and like then you send it. My opinion. Maybe for some people it still makes sense, but what most people do is that they just scan the documents themselves and they send it to the ministry and think it's okay. Now, it might work. And it might have worked in some cases. So if you've done it and now you're saying, oh, Jan says bullshit because I just scanned it or I sent a photo and the ministry accepted that, great for you. Great for you. But officially they shouldn't accept it that way because the documents you sent are not original. You could have modified them. You could have faked them. You could have like altered them. So those are not legit and they are not legally valid and they are not legally considered originals if you don't go through the conversion process at the checkpoint. So if the ministry accepted that in your case, great for you, and you can try next time as well. But it might have been just a mistake of the decision maker. Or it might be their benevolence. It like they said, okay, this is a simple application. I will not make any trouble out of that, and I will accept that. But it does not have to happen again with a different decision maker. And if it's something simple, you just want to update your address or something, yeah, do it. You have nothing to lose. Like in the worst case, you will pay some fine for reporting it late if they don't change it and you do it later with your next application. But that's fine, you know. But if it's the last day of your deadline, like to deliver some missing documents, and if you don't deliver it in time, you get your extension denied, I would probably not risk it. Because getting deported just because you like were lazy to go to a post office and do it the proper way, probably not worth it. You know, generally I think the data box is a great idea. And it could simplify things, but only if you use it correctly. And it can actually be used in some cases, like if you really have the last day and the ministry is closed, for example, and you cannot mail it because it would be too late, and you just send it via data box, and that's great. But then do it properly, do it with the electronic conversion or the conversion to the electronic form, and you'll be fine. Just don't be lazy. Don't want to like save yourself 1 hour of waiting at the post office and then risking deportation. That's one thing. Second thing also is that you should always send it from from a data box that's relevant to your case. And now there are different types of data boxes. If you're here as a foreigner, let's say you're a student here and you want to use data box to send your application, then you first have to get the data box because it's not assigned to you automatically yet. That might be one of the changes the ministry is planning for the next changes or updates of the immigration law, but as of now it's not like that. So you have to go to the post office yourself. You need to like register yourself as a private person for the data box, and then you could use it. But if you, for example, already have a trade license, then the data box is assigned to you automatically. So as soon as you get the trade license, a couple of weeks later you receive entering data for the data box, like the login and all that. And then you have a data box. But this data box is not for you as a private person, that's for you as a business, as the trade license holder. Which means that you should not, unless you're communicating with the ministry as a business, then you should not use the business data box to do that. One thing is that because it's not the same, if you send message from a business data box, that's not the same as if you send a message from your personal data box. That's one thing. But another thing is also that if you pause the trade license or cancel it or it expires accidentally, whatever, the data box is canceled as well. So even if you use the data box to submit your application, then the ministry will not have any way to contact you back because your data box have expired already. So that also gets you into a difficult situation. And again, it's also confusing for the ministry. And if you send some documents like physically, you mail some documents, you submit some documents in person, and then you send something via data box, that will probably also complicate your application and at least delay it, because it will be like 3 different ways of sending documents, and depending on the decision maker, that might be too much for the ministry to handle. So this is it. I hope this was useful. Let me see if there are questions about this topic, because that's the only questions I will be answering today. Embassy tells me, where are you going to study? That's not related. I need a letter from ministry for sponsoring my mom. That's not related either. Sorry guys, I'm only answering questions related to this topic today. Hi Ann, report my new passport from original country. Can it be online? As for reporting your passport, that's one of the things I would recommend doing in person, because the ministry should ideally see the passport physically and then they should make a copy themselves. You can still do it via data box or via mail. You just like make an official copy or official proper copy and then sign it that you agree with them, keep in the copy, or maybe write a short explanation letter and send it to them, and then you will see. Maybe they will change it, maybe they will not change it, and maybe they will say, hey, we will not change it unless you bring us the original passport. So I think just in this case, I would probably go in person. Or if you want to mail it to them, then keep the receipt, keep the tracking number, keep a record that it was delivered. And then if you go to the ministry later to submit your application or something, and they tell you, okay, you haven't reported your passport, we will fine you 3,000 crowns or whatever, you can show that you did report that. But this is actually pretty important change, so I would probably recommend doing this in person. But if you're, for example, submitting new application soon, you can do it all together at the same time, so you don't have to go there specifically for that. But I would probably do this one in person. Mukesh, sir from agency, I'm taking job in Armenia. That's not related. Osama, hi, I sent my documents to the embassy by email, super legalized, and give them appointment to come. Does that mean my documents have been accepted? Sent my documents to the embassy by email to super legalize. and give an appointment to come. Does it mean that... I honestly don't understand what you mean. Super legalization generally happens to the original document. So if you send it via email, they have nothing to super legalize. So maybe they're inviting you to now present the original document so they can do the super legalization. That's probably what I would understand. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If this was useful, share it, comment, like. If it wasn't useful, let me know in the comments and don't share it. And I'll see you again Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world. Good night, guys. Bye-bye.